I think that there's also been a couple of comments, and I actually saw this on Emergency, is when you are home with your pet and you aren't normally,
Mm-hmm.
they frequently call with, what's wrong with my dog? What's wrong with my cat? They're sleeping all day. I'm like, that's what they do anyway. You just didn't know. Now you're keeping them awake and they're exhausted because you're trying to get them to do something all day long, and really they don't need that. They normally sleep a good 12, in cats 18 hours a day. And so that's been a funny occurrence where people are home and they're like, what's wrong with my dog? He's sleeping.
Yeah, Dr. Liddell with River City Veterinary Hospital. And it is true, because I've noticed that I've been taking my dogs on walks a lot more. We walk all the time now. I probably
Yeah,
am logging more miles now than I ever have, because it's like, what else am I going to do? So we get the
right.
stroller, we get the two dogs, and they are so tired. These dogs, I mean,
Yes.
they can saw some logs with their snoring right now.
Well, and you're wearing them out because you're not only are you there interacting with them all day, where when they normally would be sleeping, you're also increasing their activity level, which is great. But there is nothing wrong with your dogs right now. They're just you've adjusted their cycle. You're not used to them sleeping as much as that they do, and now we're keeping them awake. And now you're wondering, well, why is he so tired all the time? Well, he's not getting the beauty rest he would get while everybody's at work.
No, we actually, this kind of came up in our house because our cat was acting really funny. I mean, just very skittish and just very strange. She was skittish, but yet hanging around us. And then a couple days later, we had that earthquake. Is there something to that?
I mean, animals are way more intuitive than we are, and more in tune with the environment. But it's funny that you mentioned your cat felt that way, because cats are also, I mean, you've disrupted your cat's world by changing your lifestyle, right?
Right.
Joke with cats is don't move the furniture, or you'll stress them out. And I think that you could be noticing a change in behavior because you've disrupted their life by changing your pattern and your behaviors. And then also, I think there's something to it. I mean, I worked emergency for a lot of years, and I probably before that wouldn't have said there was anything to a full moon.
Hmm.
But once you've worked in emergency, either a human hospital or veterinary hospital, probably psych ward, I imagine a lot of different things, that you will fully
Sure.
believe there's something to the full moon. Everybody acts weird. So that's interesting that you point that out. Curious what other people have to say about that.
No,
Did your pets notice the earthquake before it happened?
I mean, during it, they didn't notice it, which was also
Right.
strange. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
there's something happening here, guys. So you guys are remaining open during
Yeah.
this time because, I mean, you are an essential business during
Yeah.
this time. What kind of precautions are you guys taking for when people come in? They have to come in, get the medicine for the pets, that kind of stuff.
Sure. It's an interesting question. What's an essential business? And at River City Vet, we feel that veterinary care is essential, and that includes preventative care, because too many times we see preventative care get put to the side and then it becomes a life-threatening emergency. And so we're open, we're here for you. We have adapted. And so right now we don't let clients into the lobby unless it's for a euthanasia. And so what will happen is you would call us, and when you arrive, there's stalls that people park in, and then you call and say, I'm in stall number 5. And then our nurse will get on the phone and go through the history questions, just like you would if you were in an exam room. And they'll come out and get your pet. They will, if it's a cat, take the carrier inside, wipe it down, and then go into an exam room just like they would normally, perform the exam with the doctor, and then the doctor will call. If it's a dog, we'll exchange leashes. So we'll put a leash on your pet, and then you'll take your leash and collar. We'll go inside and then kind of do that exchange when you come back out. And a lot of the communication comes over the phone. For medications, you can come park in the parking lot, call us, and we'll bring it right out to you. Also, I have a few clients that are very high risk, and for example, one of them, their pets had diarrhea. Another one, same family, had an eye issue.
Oh,
And we were
geez.
able to do a telemedicine appointment with her and walk her through everything that needed to be done in that situation. Not everything lends itself to telemedicine. Humans can tell us how they're feeling and exactly where it hurts. Animals, we rely a lot on our physical exam, and but there are quite a few things we can do and help, or at least say, is this something that needs to come in now, or can we wait? And we do that through video, pictures, and phone calls.
It's
So we're,
it's all about adapting, it feels like.
yeah, they call it a, what is it, a pivot. We're
Yeah.
pivoting, everybody's pivoting. And what's new, but I think it's always been the case with veterinary medicine. We don't always have every tool available to us. And so I think that, we're very good at adapting. And our biggest goal is, especially at River City Vet, is for pets to be happy, healthy, pain-free, and to live as long as possible. And with that mission in mind, we're doing everything we can to modify what we can do to maintain our availability for you. That said, on the inside of the hospital, what's different is all of our nurses and staff are wearing masks to try to keep each other as healthy as possible so we can all be available to you. Because when we're down team members, it makes us harder, to be there for your pets. We did have one doctor who just had not COVID-19, but was ill, and it reminded us, like, oh, we've all got to stay healthy. It is
Yeah.
flu season. We've all been through flu seasons where half the staff was sick, and it's not very much fun.
And then now also couple that with the Idaho allergies, which is
Right. Oh yeah. It's funny now when you cough in the store, it's a totally different reaction, right? I'm like, I have
oh
allergies.
my gosh. The other day I was in the store and I had like a tickle in my throat because we had been doing yard work the whole day before. And I went to go get something to drink because I was waiting for my Monopolies is what I was waiting for. I'm like, come on, let's count these out. Mama got to win something. And I was waiting. And the only thing I had to drink in the thing in my cart was some beer. And I was like, well, I guess I got to open it because everybody's staring at me. But yeah, so I'm glad that you guys are taking those precautions, and you guys have been fabulous. Like, I have to come by and pick up Lucy the Wonder Dog's thyroid medicine. And you guys are so great bringing it right out to the car. I hope that we are able to get up and running again, just because it's also, you mentioned the preventative care part. And I think a lot of us are putting the preventative care stuff, but for even ourselves, on the back burner during this time. But it's important to kind of keep an eye on our pets, and we have the time now. We could literally sit there and stare at them all day.
Yes. And you'll notice things that you didn't notice before, lumps, bumps, maybe a cough you didn't notice before, eye discharge. You mentioned the preventative care for ourselves. I could see that because when you, as a person, you have to walk into a building where someone who is sick might be. I mean, they're most likely going to be at the doctor's office, right? But in this situation, we're able to completely eliminate that portion for you. So by doing these curbside drop-offs, your pet comes in, we take care of your pet, we get that preventative care done, and then we can have you just be outside safe in your car, comfortable, maybe watching Netflix, I don't know.
Exactly.
But and I've seen a lot of wellness appointments, but lots of puppies right now.
Oh, sure.
And even some kittens, and those are vital that we get those puppy vaccinations in. We're also working really hard we've sent out an email to all of our new puppy owners, how to socialize your puppy when you are in shelter in place orders, because right now is the time when they're this 2 to 4 months of age that they need to get out and be exposed to other animals and people, and we're limiting that. And so we've sent out an email, and we're trying to adapt all the things that we can that way. So if you have a special need, we'll figure out a way to help with that. And that was just an example, like, oh no, we have all these puppies that are going to be scared and timid and maybe not get along with other dogs because they're not getting the socialization they need. And so that was important that we figure out a way around that. But yes, and right now is flea and tick season. And so definitely want you guys to get on your preventatives. My animals have brought in multiple ticks already, reminding me that, okay, it's time, because tick season starts at various times in Idaho, right? You never know exactly when it's going to start. And I think it was a good reminder for me that we're all really distracted right now. And we still have to take care of those essential things for our pets.
Now, as we try to kind of understand what world we're living in now and like COVID-19, and I know that there's not a lot of information out there, but I'm sure people worry about their pets getting it too. That for me was actually behind my kid and my family. Like, it was, maybe it was tied with my kid, let's be honest, of getting the pet sick with COVID-19. What do you say to people who have that concern?
It's so there is no proof right now that pets dogs and cats are at risk for getting it. There have been a few cases of animals testing positive, but they had no symptoms. And then we had the tigers at the Bronx Zoo that one tested positive and was symptomatic. But tigers, they are a different species than cats. They're in the same family, but they're a different species. So IDEXX Laboratory, that is as a veterinary laboratory, they've tested over 5,000 dogs and cats.
Wow.
They have not had one positive yet.
Okay.
And so we're worrying about them being carriers is very low, and also worrying about them getting the disease is also very low. Now, because we don't know 100%, if you are sick, you should take the same precautions as you would for your pet as you would for another person. And so limit your contact with your pet if you're sick, wash your hands before you pet your dog or cat. The other thing is that the reason why we've shut down daycare is at our pet resort and boarding is because no one's traveling right now, but right. Is because an animal can act as what's called a fomite, where they literally can have the virus on them, and you can touch them and then you can get it, just like touching something in the grocery store. And so we decided that we didn't want to increase that risk for you to bring your dog to daycare, have it interact with another dog, and potentially bring the virus home that way. I'm not worried about the dog catching the virus and bringing it home. It's actually just, by contact. And so you can, if you're worried about that. Again, I have a high risk client who takes her dog for a walk and she was worried. And so you can take a cleaning product, say a Clorox wipe, and wipe your dog down with a wipe their feet off or something like that if you're very concerned. Okay. But most people, 99% of people, don't need to have that concern.
Yeah, no, as long as you're not in that high risk category, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you guys are still open. You're still doing your thing and doing it just in a different way. And like you said, veterinary care is one that always has to pivot, because unless you're Dr. Dolittle, animals aren't talking to you.
I sure wish they would.
Gosh, me too. I've been watching a lot of Dr. Dolittle in our house. A lot of Dr. Dolittle.
That would be too easy.
Wouldn't that? Yeah, I got a stuffy nose. Somebody help me. But River City Veterinary Hospital in Meridian, just off of, I like to call it Chinder, because that's my easiest way. Chinden Linder, just down a little bit. And if you need anything, any questions, they are available for you.